welcome back to Auto Transport Intel. Thank you for joining us today. It is Wednesday. It is noon Central Time. That means it's time for DOT Compliance with your DOT guy, Brian Riker, where we talk all things DOT. So what we want you to do is go ahead and jump into the live chat. Don't have anybody here yet, but when you get here, put in your question. If you got a DOT question, a compliance question, obviously we have some topics lined up that we're going to cover. Also, do me a favor, you can go ahead and hit that like button. Please do consider the share button right below this video that you're watching. You can click share, you can click copy, you can grab that link, text it, email it, put it on social media and say, hey man, you got a question? You got a DOT or compliance question? Man, this is the time. Jump in the live chat and ask your question, get your answers, and let's go ahead and bring Brian in here. Your DOT guy, Brian Riker. Brian, can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Jay. Good afternoon, and thank you for being here.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Let's dive right in. Tell me, you said, Wednesday Wisdom.
Yes, I have a Wednesday wisdom from you. It hit me yesterday because I was on the road. We had a snowstorm up in the Northeast, and, well, Wednesday wisdom has to do with winter weather this week and your insurance and how the two of them play together. We all think that a snowstorm, a tornado, a weather event is considered an act of God, and it may be for your homeowner's insurance, but that doesn't mean it is for your commercial auto policy. You have to use some due diligence. Good judgment. You have to use some good judgment. Just from Rochester, New York to the Ohio state line, I counted 6 tractor trailers off in the median in various stages of upset and wreck this morning when I came through. I'm on my way to Chicago with a beautiful 2018 Pete 389 low side car hauler Cottrell for sale at Worldwide Equipment. It's a fresh trade in. Nice truck, 300,000 miles. Anyhow, sales pitch out of the way. Winter weather. You have to sometimes say, hey, this load's going to be late and not take that risk in the wintertime. Because if your insurance company says, well, the roads were impassable, you were out there driving, perhaps they're going to deny your claim and they're not going to pay a full rate on it. Not to mention an accident can put you out of business as a small carrier, or an accident loss on your record, even when it's not your fault, somebody else wrecks into you, still hurts your insurance. So I just want you to all think about winter, because here it is December. We're going into the winter season. I want you to think about winter weather and make some sound judgment calls as you decide what to do this winter season. And that's the Wednesday wisdom for today.
And that's solid advice, and it's a big topic, and it's pretty wild. You think about, I think it's when you see people in the median on the side of the road that you realize what's really happening, or when you spot that black ice and you're like, wow, I'm glad nothing happened there. Do you, specifically to the industry and to the equipment you're familiar with and talking about, do you have any specific tips or anything like, I don't know, is there anything that you can do? Let's say you think you might be in trouble. Do you have any standard things that you do that you just run through real quick for somebody that doesn't know?
Hold on tight. Be very gentle with your throttle. But seriously, in the winter weather, or the high winds or the heavy rain, your load balance is critical. We already know with the wedges it's extremely critical. Even in good weather, they'll roll over sitting at a traffic light if they're not loaded properly. I've seen it happen. But in the winter weather, when we have high winds, we have snow, we have ice, you may find some slippery condition when you come around the corner. Load balance is absolutely critical. Make sure you have enough weight on the drive axle of your truck to maintain traction, but not too much that you're lightening up your steer axle where you go into an understeer condition when you go into a corner and you lose steering control. And of course, you want to adjust that balance too, so you're not any more top heavy than you absolutely have to be. It's not the time to be lazy. For us guys with big trucks, it's not the time to just load straight across the top deck and forget about the belly. You're going to do that at the next stop. It's time to think about exactly where you put the vehicles. Maybe you need to move one around here or there. You really need to slow down. I say that all the time, but you really need to slow down, increase your following distance, increase your eye lead time. In a normal condition, we should be looking about 15 seconds ahead of us, which is a good fifth of a mile or more. In inclement weather, we need to look as far ahead as we possibly can, given the weather conditions, so we have time to react. And if you start to go into a skid, just don't panic. Hold on to the wheel tight, gently let your foot off the throttle, Don't stab on the brakes. That's going to make it worse. Don't try to reach down to your brake controller. Old school truckers, we say pull the trolley brake or hit the trailer brake and it'll straighten out a jackknife. That doesn't apply with today's modern vehicles with ABS. That'll just make it worse. Just lift off the throttle gently and try to not oversteer or overcorrect.
Right, and there's no cure for the people that insist on reducing what you had as your stopping distance. You know, we see that all the time, and I'd like to think that I'm, as a civilian driver, a little more conscious of just taking up a driver's stopping distance in front of them, and I'll flash my lights and let them know, hey man, go ahead. I'm not gonna go flying off the on ramp to take up your space or whatever. But yeah, there is no cure for whatever's going on in traffic all the time. That's really good stuff, Brian. So here, Ty threw it up here. This is really good. Switching gears. Can you explain the difference between a CDL-A and B?
Sure. It's the weight of the trailer that you can haul. It's really that simple. A Class A CDL is the closest thing to an unrestricted license you can have. That allows you, if the truck you're pulling with or the truck you're pulling with exceeds 26,000 pounds gross weight rating or actual weight, you can pull any trailer with that. Class B license is still the same truck, so picture the tractor without the trailer behind it when we're getting into big trucks or a big dump truck or a bus, and the trailer has to be under 10,000 pounds. So that's really the only difference. A Class B, unless you're going to run a 4-car straight truck like they use in the salvage industry, Class B is pretty much useless for us in the car haul world. It's good for those 5-pack single units without a trailer. It's good for a 4-car rollback or a heavy-duty industrial rollback that you're going to move backhoes or front-end load or something like that on. But the difference is the weight of the trailer that you can pull.
And maybe, because I rarely hear Class B mentioned, would that work if you were doing like heavy equipment drive away?
Yes, Class B is great for drive away, except when you're doing the deck sets where you got 3 of them set up. Class B is your vocational license. Class B is what the guys that run dump trucks, cement mixer, school bus, city bus, stuff like that get. Long haul, it's rare to have a Class B long haul vehicle. And if you're new to the CDL program and you're going to get your CDL, as a former third-party examiner, I used to issue CDLs in Pennsylvania, and I still currently do some instruction. I always recommend go for your Class A if you have the chance to, and just get it out of the way and get it done with. It's always better to have more of a license than not have it and have to go back and take it all over again just because now your vehicle bends in the middle.
Right. Okay, cool. Let's see here. We got Danny B. Here, well, let's go to the live chat. Danny B says, is it not recommended to use an exhaust brake in the snow or rain?
Correct. Manufacturers say use it sparingly or do not use it at all, depending upon the manufacturer you talk to. You can get away with it in normal rain as long as it's not fresh rain in Georgia where there hasn't rained in 2 months and the pavement's oily. But you want to be very careful using your exhaust brake or your engine retarder because it can cause your wheels to lock up. It can confuse your ABS system when it's on. Old school, big horsepower motors, you can bring the truck to a stop with the Jake brake. So use your common sense on it. I personally don't use it in most bad weather, but it is, again, it's all situation dependent. But yes, they tell you in the CDL book, most manufacturers tell you do not use it in snow, definitely not in ice. Rain is case by case. It depends on the scenario.
Okay, good one, Danny. Thank you so much for that. And if you've got a question for Brian, any compliance question, DOT question, equipment question, he's happy to answer that. And let's see here. What I want to do is, oh, by the way, since Ty is here, if you have a question, if you have an ATI question, an overall ecosystem business question, go ahead and join Auto Transport Intel ATI Insider. Go to the website, autotransportintel.com, click on sign up, and you can do that, and we'll be happy to help you out. Let's go to Let's talk about brokering and dispatching. Oh, wait, before we do, we got another question. Fritz, can I remove my company magnets on my commercial pickup for private use?
Great question, Fritz. And I actually address this weekly with some of my customers on the compliance company. You can get away with removing your numbers, but I don't recommend you do it, because that vehicle, once you start using it for the business, is a commercial vehicle at all times. Every mile needs to be accounted for. All your records need to be kept, whether you're taking the family out to movies on Saturday night or you're pulling your trailer. Plus, it gets very sticky once you get into a vehicle that is registered heavy enough. You have fuel tax and apportioned registration, because again, every mile, even your personal use miles, the fuel tax is due on. It has to be accounted for. And then we have this whole insurance thing too. You have to read your insurance policy very carefully, because most commercial auto insurance policies have limitations on what you can do with that privately, and they even have restrictions on passengers. So unless you have specifically declared you're going to take your wife, your girlfriend, your kids, your cousin, whoever with you, even on your personal use, you have an accident, they may not cover it. You have an accident and the sharp-eyed adjuster notices your DOT numbers are covered up or not on the truck, then they're going to say, hey, this policy only covers your commercial vehicle when it's displaying that DOT number. That's one of the reasons why it's almost impossible to pause your commercial insurance and take a truck out of service, because that MCS 90 form they filed for you for your DOT number provides insurance when that truck is being used commercially. So you open yourself up to a lot of risk, a lot of liability of having an insurance claim denied, somebody getting hurt and not being able to get the medical attention they need paid for because they weren't an authorized passenger in that vehicle. For that, I strongly discourage folks from using their pickup truck for personal business unless you're out under dispatch. So you're taking a 34-hour restart away from home and you got to go to the Walmart or the grocery store. That is perfectly legitimate business-related personal use. But to park your trailer on Friday night, bobtail home with your pickup truck, use it to take the dirt bikes out to the mountains on Saturday, go pick your kids up from their mothers and take them with you somewhere, I say no, don't do it.
That's great information. Yeah, and in the live chat, they really appreciate that. So thank you guys. Thanks, Brian, for the info. Fritz, Danny B, thank you guys for your questions. We'll take more questions. We're already halfway through the show, which is crazy. But that's why it's going to be every Wednesday starting next month. January 2021, we're going to do this every Wednesday at noon for 30 minutes. Let's do this, since I brought this up, and I keep bringing this stuff up. Let's talk about dispatching. We've got this TIA petition for rulemaking submitted by SBTC James Lamb. Did you read this, Brian?
Yes, I have. And this particular petition that Mr. Lamb is responding to has caused a lot of stir at Federal Motor Carrier in the last couple of weeks. In fact, they had a live listening session that I participated in on this exact petition and this subject. So, synopsis on the petition: TIA, that's the Transportation Intermediaries Association. They're the trade group that represents the brokers. They're trying to do two things with this petition. One, eliminate their requirement to provide transparency to you, the motor carrier, to show you what they were actually paid for arranging transportation on that load. And that's been protected since the old ICC, Interstate Commerce Commission days. You are right as a motor carrier to see what the broker is paid. And part two, they're trying to do away with the model of dispatch services as we know it, where they don't mind a dispatch service if they're contracted exclusively to one motor carrier, not just servicing,
right, which is totally unrealistic. If
Correct.
You're a housekeeper, chances are you cannot work for one family. You need several houses.
Correct. And well, I understand where they're coming from, and I do believe that some people take advantage of the loophole and they provide broker services under the cover of a dispatch company. I don't believe every dispatcher is illegal out here. We've had this discussion over and over again.
We continue to, and I can't understand why there's such a war against dispatchers. I don't know if I got a thick skull. People have got to be tired of hearing me talk about it.
Oh, we're tired of it, but it's not going away until FMCSA makes a decision.
And you know, well, and that's one of the things when I see these writings and I can't read them. It's too lengthy. There's too much, like, I mean, just on page 2, like, you know, okay, this question is posing using the word would, blah 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 blah. We will therefore is fine, but there's some of the language which is just so, I don't know, it's so run around the bush and all these analogies, and I think he should be a novelist. I think James Lamb might want to get into writing, like, you know, detective books. I think
he should.
Something.
Yeah, he should write fiction, definitely.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to. Yeah, and for the record, I said this off camera, and I'm going to say it on camera. I appreciate James Lamb's passion and discussion, and I want him to feel comfortable to come back on the show, even if he's wrong.
And he's not. Wrong's probably too hard of a word. He's. I can't think of the appropriate word right now, but he's a little too wordy trying to explain something, and he deviates from just what FMCSA wants, which are strict facts and figures, no conjecture, no opinion. They want facts and figures, especially in this petition. They had 6 or 7 very specific questions they wanted answered. And so, yeah, I love Mr. Lamb's passion. I wish we had more people that are passionate like that.
Conjecture. Conjecture is the word of the day, because conjecture is that's really good. I'm gonna put that in all caps. Conjecture. There's too much conjecture, and if I can't read it, I can't imagine an FMCSA administrator reading it, and they must, when they see the SBTC logo, they must be like, oh my God.
There's a couple of organizations that do that to them.
Embellish. Ty's got embellish. That's right. Embellish. It'd be like, it's like Family Feud now. You know, word for exaggeration? Embellish. Number 1 answer.
There we go. So, I am happy to see that this petition is getting attention. It means FMCSA is going to make a decision. We may or may not like it, depending upon which side of the aisle you sit on, whether you're a broker. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not that the broker transparency, I think, will go the way of business. Right?
Yes, I'm not even positive we really need broker transparency anymore, and I know I'm going to get hate mail. I know it, but here's the way I see it. When I had my trucking company, we brokered a lot of work out as well, and
all trucking companies do, because you can't. It's your client. You can't do every route from Alaska to the Philippines.
And when you look at the new business model that Ready, yes, we can do that by truck. Come on, they want a truck service to Hawaii a couple weeks ago. When you look at the new business, just to tie it back to car haul, look at the new business model for Mannheim, where they want one transporter to take responsibility for an entire territory, 100% of the vehicles that are in it. Well, that transporter is going to have to broker some of this out. Yes. But here's the deal. When I show you my books with full transparency, you're not going to understand what the rate is, and I don't mean that to sound condescending or insulting, but I'm going to bid some 7-figure number on that lane, not a per unit number, or that's how some of my bids had worked. We bid a flat rate to handle up to so many units a year. So you're going to see my contract that for my contract, I made $7.2 million for the vehicles I moved for Ford Motor Company that year. It doesn't do you any good.
Well, and that's the thing is, imagine walking into any fast food joint. And, okay, so the burger's $6.99. And then below that, they have all the schedules of all their profit, their expenses. I mean, it would be, you can't absorb that much data that fast.
No, and as far as this goes, I think we would get better to protect our interest as motor carrier, speaking as a trucking company. I think we would get better protection of our interest if we just had some regulations to do away with double and triple brokering, so that there's where we need the transparency. So we know that that broker we took the load from is not the one that ultimately is responsible for it. But the rates, these big brokerage houses, they make flat rate deals. Sometimes they're making out great on your load. Sometimes they're losing.
And that's right. That they're making contracts that the owner operator can't possibly make. You can't make a 2-year contract get paid every 6 months for everything east of the Mississippi. You can't. Well, there's no way.
That's exactly it. We had contracts that paid us net 45 days, but the trucking company that delivered the load for us was paid in 3 to 5 days. Right. So, where do you put in there? How much is that worth for us fronting that money for 35 or 40 days? You pay a factoring company 10% of your invoice, but now you're going to look and we made $125 on that car that moved 50 miles and we paid you $99 of that. You're going to say, well, you kept $26 for answering the phone. No, we kept $26 for answering the phone, having a customer relationship, fronting you that $99 35 days before we got paid, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to sound like I'm defending brokers.
Well, I was just going to say,
crooked.
And here's the thing. If I sound like I'm defending brokers, I pay my penance every Thursday at noon on Dispatching Live, because I spend 90 minutes destroying how terrible these load postings are.
Well, and those are the brokers we have the problems with. So I don't want to keep beating the dead horse on this, because the other half of this petition is dispatch service. And again, I hold, and so do some of our attorney friends, they hold to the position that as long as that dispatcher is not getting direct customers of their own and then handing the freight out. So if they're not in a position to decide, okay, this car from Miami to Los Angeles, I've got 4 guys I dispatch from, but I really like Tom this week, or I'm going to make the most money off of Tom hauling it, let me give it to Tom. I mean, no, that's not how it works. If they're looking... Dude,
I've never met anybody that does that. Not that it doesn't happen.
Yes.
But I've seen more carriers sub-haul out without a broker's license. And by the way, you know, I think that kind of sucks. I'm going to say this. I think it kind of sucks. If you're a carrier and you have a client and it's your client, but you're not going to carry that load, I think you should be able to broker out that load.
And years ago, we could without a broker authority. It was called interlining. Now, because of deregulation of the industry, we as a carrier can't service our customer directly.
And I think that sucks.
It does. It sucks. We actually need a complete overhaul of the brokering, dispatching, and authority process, period. We still have on the books official authorities that don't even exist anymore, like common and contract authority, where common allowed you to haul any commodity for any person on the open market. Contract was specific for, let's say, Ford Motor Company. They don't even exist anymore. They're the same authority. Why do we still even have these regulations? It's time for a complete revamp of the federal motor carrier safety regulations. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to move brokerage over to another federal agency, because what does how much we get paid for the freight have to actually do with safety, other than don't take cheap freight that you can't afford to maintain your truck? But regulating what the broker or shipper pays, that doesn't have a thing to do with safety.
And I've heard some carriers say this. It doesn't matter what the broker charges. I know what I need to make on that load. If I'm not going to make that, I'm not going to haul that. And that is much more reliable than knowing the profit on the cheeseburger when you're standing in line to order.
Correct. If you know your numbers, it doesn't matter what the broker makes on this load. You need to know your numbers forward and backwards, inside and out, and not just some arbitrary, I need $1 a mile per car and I'm okay. You need to know exactly what that lane is going to cost you. You need to even consider, like, I'm a day and a half behind because of weather. You need to even consider, okay, I know I'm going in an area that is known to shut down I-70 for a day and a half or 2 days. I need to build that in because I might miss my backhaul. You need to understand your numbers well to be profitable.
And that's why those it's an ongoing fact calculator. Ty says, hey, does Brian recommend getting your own authority or leasing on?
It's going to depend on how good you are at managing a business. And I have a customer who had been trying to get his own authority for over a year, and he finally decided to stay leased on. But it's going to depend on how good you are at all the minutia. Because get your own authority sounds great. I'm going to cut out the motor carrier. I'm going to get that extra 15 or 20% of the load. But then if you need to hire a dispatcher, a bookkeeper, a compliance expert, a whole bunch of other people, well, we appreciate the business, but that all comes at a cost. You may actually make more money just leasing to a carrier and letting them handle all that back office stuff. Plus, there's insurance. Maybe you live in an area that insurance is expensive or your record's not perfect, so you can get a better price on your insurance by giving 10% of the load to a motor carrier and only paying for your non-trucking liability. So it depends on how you are, and do you have the time, desire, and ability to learn these lanes, understand these things, and know what makes sense, not just say, well, I'm going to get my own authority because I only want to drive Florida to Texas. I don't want to be up in the snow. Well, sometimes you got to go up in the snow because that's where the money is.
You know, in the past 24 hours, I saw in 2 totally different places, 2 totally different companies promoting, do you need help setting up your authority? Yada, da, 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 da. And I thought, I think I dislike that message too, because it makes it sound too easy. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. And that's why I don't advertise for those services. They're a large part of what I do, helping people get their authority and make sure they're going to pass the new entrant program audit and helping them learn how to do their back office work themselves. I'm not some magic service where I do all the paperwork for you. I am here to help you learn how to do it so you're self-sufficient. And yes, I forget the number, but it's a ridiculous number of new operating authority applications every day in the United States. And then you get bombarded. Anyone that got their authority knows you get bombarded with solicitations. You hear radio ads on XM when you're driving late at night. Even trade associations offer, we can help you get your operating authority. Some insurance companies are offering to do it for you for free because they want to get the insurance premium off of you. So it's all over. And I think the barrier to entry to this industry is a little bit too low. Again, I'm going to get the hate mail. I'm just racking it up today. But I think it's too easy to just buy a truck, a trailer, and go haul. Now, you guys are going to tell me I'm nuts. It's not easy, but really it is, compared to, I have friends that are attorneys that spent 8 to 10 years in school and $200,000 on an education to come out and make $45,000 at the assistant DA in the prosecutor's office. It's easy to become a truck driver compared to some other professions. It really is. Well, and maybe it needs to be a little bit harder.
And everybody's got to do something. And with more, with more robots every day, we have to find our place in the world. And it is challenging, but I really, when I hear, I'll help you set up your authority, I feel like, late night infomercials, airport, hotel room, easy peasy, just get my book, just order now. And I just can't stand it when I hear that. And I feel like I had to say something.
Me too. One of the largest compliance company in the United States does that to you all the time. They used to mail you big free 800-page books, and they have seminars that they offer for free. You go to the seminar, you sit there in the hotel room, and they have coffee and some Danishes, and basically it's a sales pitch on why you need them and their service to manage all this for you, and that's not right. I will not ever buy a list from Federal Motor Carrier and send you an email or a phone call to say, hey, this is Brian's with the compliance department and you need to be in this program today. Just like these UCR crap we get all the time. $199.95, we'll file it for you, plus state fees of $64, and you can do it for free online, just paying the $64 or $60.31 fee. How'd I know you were going to go there?
Renew your UCR.
Yes.
Now, I took out the company information because I don't want to. I'm not here to blast anybody, but rather the content. Right? So what's the problem with this, Brian?
The problem with this is that big orange action button right there in the bottom of the screen. Call us today.
And look,
you click.
You've even got the fear appeal, failing to renew a registerable.
And they are correct. Not having your
Well,
UCR can get you shut down.
Yeah.
However, I caution you, unless it comes from a .gov, a .gov email address, it's probably a solicitation. And this is one of the biggest ones. You just log on to UCR.gov. It's as easy as entering your USDOT number. You can see your last 5 years of registration, when it was filed, the date, time, right down to the second that you paid it. And with a major credit card or even just your bank account information, you can pay it online with a $1 or $2 convenience fee for what the fee is, instead of those solicitations like that one right there. They'll charge you somewhere between $99 and $199.95, and you're signing up for a reoccurring plan where they actually take over control of your accounts for you. They get all your notices, and then they start billing you for all sorts of stuff that you can do for free.
And how ironic, because many folks want to be an owner-operator and get into trucking because they want to take control over their destiny, right? It's part of the idea. And here you are, handing your money over and your destiny over to somebody that really that just figured out a way they figured out a way to collect money off you. And,
sure.
and put you on the siphon. And and I'm not putting any companies on blast, but it also, not to mention, when we talked about the clearinghouse last time, don't you need to be adept at logging in and managing your own driver files, your own driver accounts, your clearinghouse?
Oh,
As an
absolutely.
owner-operator, you need to be able to do that.
Absolutely, because when the auditor knocks on your front door and shows up at your business address, which for most of us is our house and our office is a filing cabinet in the bedroom, you need to be able to put your fingers on this paperwork. You can't call up Mr. Brian, your DOT guy, as much as I want to help you. I'm going to be 1,000 miles away when they knock on that door. I can help you put it all together and keep you out of trouble so they don't ever show up. But yes, you need to have awareness. Even if you choose to have someone else manage this for you, you still need to be aware of it so you're not getting taken for a ride. Don't ever do something just because somebody told you you need to. Make sure you understand it. Ask questions until you understand it. That's what I'm here for. I am a teacher at heart. I do offer a subscription plan, $195 a month, and I'm here 24/7 to answer your question. But I'm here to teach you how to do this. I'm happy. I love that residual income, but I'm happy when my clients can do it by themselves and they don't need me anymore, and they can come off that subscription plan. It makes me happy. I celebrate with them.
Eventually, I'm sure there will be. I'm checking my audio here. I'm sure there will come the day where there'll probably be more advertising on this show and whatnot. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to put on the new copper pot, the Teflon pans, and all this stuff that you don't need. We do not want to do that. Because what we are saying, we really do believe. I like that. I like that this topic wasn't planned. But I like that. I mean, I had the UCR image ready, but the overall message where we really want to help owners, people, drivers, business owners, whatever you're getting into, whether you're carrier, dispatcher, broker, shoot, if we can help a dealer, great. We want you to grow your own business and be in control of your business.
Absolutely, Jay. And that's one of the reasons why we're bringing this show weekly starting in January. Because 30 to 40 minutes every other week just isn't enough. I want to be able to present 7 to 10 minutes on a specific topic in an educational, not sales pitch manner. I do live shows for the towing industry, and I normally do 15 to 20 presentations a year, and I miss doing that. We had none this year. I like getting up in front of a room of 30 or 40 of my peers and educating them. Well, that's what we're going to do with this starting in January. We're going to have that. Here's a topic. We're going to dissect it for you in 7 to 10 minutes. If you need more information, you know where to get it. And honestly, guys, everything that I do, everything that I know can be done by Google if you just know where to look. So don't let anybody tell you got to pay for this stuff if you don't want to. You pay for the convenience of having it all packaged for you and handed to you in easy to digest bites. So don't let these people take advantage of you.
Right on. Well, listen, we're out of time. That's it for the day. So what I'm going to do is, and I'll just mention this now. What we'll do is we'll say goodbye together at the end of every episode. So I'll keep you on while I end the show, and then when the stream is done, then I'll let you go. So together, I mean, listen, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining the live chat. Lionel Yates is here. Lionel Yates is in the live chat. David is in the live chat. Ty says we're killing it. This is a big deal. Lionel says the devil is in the details. Dog whistle selling. and David was guessing if that was JJ Keller. So guys, thank you all so much for your input, your content, your participation. And as a wrap up on the first topic, do be safe out there. We know we can't say it enough. And I end my Tuesday night show with, be safe, because it's above all else, it's so true. If you don't have your health, and in this case your equipment, you're right, you could be in a world of hurt. So,
absolutely. One mistake, not even yours, can put you out of business. Just be ever vigilant.
So do that. Be vigilant. Stay safe. Lionel says the profit margins are very slim in this industry, and compliance and hard work is the difference if you keep it. So thank you for that, Lionel. Brian, thank you so much for another great 30 minutes. We'll see each other again one more time before the end of the year. We're going to do, what are we doing here? 2 weeks from now is December 16th. Oh, and we've got, now December 30th, we'll take that one off. Because that's
whatever works for you. It's the middle of the holiday, so.
It's what I'm saying. It's the middle of the holiday. We'll probably take that one off. But we'll keep in touch.
If any breaking news comes in, anything exciting happens, we might fill that 30 minutes up. If not, we'll see you on the 16th, and then we'll be back January 6th every week after that.
That's right. So you guys know the drill. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Do stay safe. Keep your business growing. Let us know how we can help. By the way, I forgot to say this too. Let me just throw up. If you want to contact Brian, I'm going to push up the page right now. Fleet Compliance. Oh, the titles are in the way, Jay. Fleet Compliance Solutions LLC. Go to fleetcompliancesolutions.net. That is the best way to contact Brian. If you've got a question, here's my recommendation, and I would absolutely recommend anybody do this, is that just keep his number handy. Keep Brian's number handy, so that if you run into a situation where you need to talk to him, right? Is that 570 number? Is that what's
Correct.
The number? 570
570-228-6210. 570-228-6210.
And that is Brian, your DOT guy. I would just keep the number handy. Write it on a sticky, put it on the side of the door if you run into a situation where you need help. Now, this isn't a hotline, and Brian's not a lawyer. But
correct.
But Brian is probably, if you don't already have one, number one source for good information, advice, and maybe you will need him. Maybe you yeah.
I'm sorry, Jake.
No, please.
I was just going to say, and if you're a little nervous about calling, I'm an easygoing guy. I'm a truck driver, 30 years, owned my own fleet, owned Fleet Compliance Solutions now for 11 years. April 2009 is when we founded this company, and I sell some trucks. But if you're a little nervous about calling, you can always go to my website, either fleetcompliancesolutions.net or the easy one to remember, YourDOTGuy.com, and use the contact me page. Send me an email that way, and I'll respond to you via email first. I promise you I won't call you unless you want me to call you. Some people don't like talking on the telephone. So YourDOTGuy.com, contact me page. That'll dump it in my email box, and I'll get back to you by email. Normally I got about a day and a half lag on the contact page from the website.
And check this out. Danny B says Brian is the best. He's better than a lawyer. I've used him. So that is super cool. Thank you for that, Danny B. First of all, well done, guys. Carlos is here, ACB Logistics. Listen, if you missed any part of the show, go back and watch it. This is a quick read, easy to listen to. So much information, Brian. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on Wednesday the 16th.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everybody. Be safe. Have a good one.
Be safe. Thanks so much, guys.